Hey guys, and welcome to Aussie Reviews, and welcome to the next installment of my beginner series about safe storage at home. Now, when you're storing firearms, guys, it's pretty straightforward. It does vary slightly from state to state here in Australia. However, a lot of it is very similar. So first of all, let's take a look at the legislation. So the legislation we're looking at here, guys, is the Weapons Regulation 2016 here in Queensland. So if you want to have a look at this, or even the Weapons Act, then you need to go to legislation.qld.gov.au and you can see it all there. So what we're looking at here is section 94. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. This talks about secure storage facilities. Okay, so this tells you what your storage has to comply with, depending on what license you have. Now, this doesn't apply obviously to armourers, collectors, dealers, or theatrical ordnance suppliers, or people even with security guard licenses. Okay, this is for people who have firearms registered on their standard firearms or concealable firearms license. Okay, so A, B, C, D, and also H. Okay, so when we come down here, there's a couple of key points. I won't bore you with a lot of this. I'm just going to pick out the key points for you, okay? So it says here, a person who possesses a weapon must, when the weapon is not in the person's physical possession, store it unloaded in a locked container complying with subsections 5 and 6 with the weapon's bolt removed or its action broken. Okay, so that's really clear and straightforward there. Okay, so when we go down here a little bit further, we'll come down to subsection 5. So it says, for a category D, H or R weapon, the container must be a rigid structure made of solid steel and be bolted to the frame or floor of a permanent building. Or, for any other weapon, be a rigid structure made of solid steel or solid timber, and if the container weighs less than 150 kilos, be securely fixed to the frame or floor of a permanent building. If you've got, for example, a Cat H firearm, which is going to be the most common out of D, H or R, if you've got a Cat H firearm, regardless of how much it weighs, it must be made of solid steel and it must be bolted to the frame or floor of a permanent building. Okay, simple as that. If you've got category A, B or C, then that's fine. You can have a safe basically made of solid steel or solid timber, okay? But if it weighs less than 150 kilos, it must be securely fixed to the frame or floor of a permanent building. Okay, so down here at subsection 6 now, it says also for subsection 2, the container must also have a sturdy combination lock, keyed lock, or keyed padlock. All you need to do is, if you get a safe, either it takes a key to unlock it, it takes a electronic code to unlock it, or an actual keyed padlock, to be able to unlock it. Okay, so now let's have a look at different firearms and how they need to be stored. For semi-auto pistols, the action must be broken. So put a chamber safety flag in and it's ready to be stored. For revolvers, you can just simply push the cylinder out to the side, or double up by putting a chamber safety flag on. Bolt action rifles, the bolt needs to be removed. Lever action, straight pulls, the action must be broken. Same with pump actions. Put a chamber safety flag in and the action is broken. Semi-automatic rifles, the action must be broken. So put a chamber safety flag in, the bolt forward, and the action is broken. Same with semi-automatic shotguns, the action must be broken, so put a chamber safety flag in, bolt forward, and it's compliant. So hopefully that's given you a good understanding of do's and don'ts when using firearms and storing them at home. Now, there's a couple of do's and don'ts I just want to go over one more time, guys. Obviously, don't keep your magazines loaded and have them in the firearm or next to the firearm, when you've got them in your safe. Don't put ammunition in the safe with the firearm. Okay, now obviously if you've got a separate container internally in the safe, so in other words, you have a separate lockable compartment, that's fine. You can put ammunition in that, but you can't have it in the same container as what those firearms are, okay? You can actually store firearms with a magazine here in Queensland, however the magazine can't be loaded. You can also store pistols and rifles together here in Queensland, provided they are stored correctly. In other words, that action broken or the bolt removed. And one last thing, guys, whatever you do, if you do have a key for your safe, don't leave the key lying around that's easily accessible. It is actually an offence here in Queensland. So make sure that key is on you, or it is stored separately out of sight somewhere where people can't easily access it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this beginner series. If you do, please give it the thumbs up. And as always, take care, and we'll catch you on the next review.